It is almost noon, and even though I am not excited about eating, I don't feel like eating sardines. I know I'm hungry and I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit weak, and I know I need to eat. The thought of eating sardines out of the can like I did yesterday is like turning my stomach. I can't even bear to think about doing that. So I am going to be heating up some sardines in the pan, maybe mashing them a little bit, and I'm going to cook them in a little bit of butter. Since I am going to use the butter, I got the spring water sardines instead of the olive oil ones. A lot of people doing the sardine fast will allow butter, like Dr. Lisa Wiedemann and Anita, Ketogenic Woman. She has some recipes with butter. So I'm just gonna go for it. I just need to do a little something different than I did yesterday, or I don't think I'm gonna make it. This is about a little over 2 teaspoons of butter. I'm gonna melt that. I'm gonna just fry up the sardines a little bit and then add some seasoning. I haven't decided what seasoning yet, but just something. Oh, and I'm gonna add some lemon juice also. I think that's gonna help a lot. I was kind of trying to like cut them in half so it'd be like fillets, but it's just falling apart. And you can see this is the spine. Appetizing, huh? I think I'll give this to the dog. Delicious. I'm gonna do some Redmond seasoned salt for the seasoning and then top with lemon juice. I am gonna go ahead and mash these up a little bit. Mix the butter in really well. I think that's good. Just a squeeze of lemon here. Freddie says she's ready to help me out whenever I need it. So I was rewatching Anita's video on how to prep for a sardine challenge this morning, and she gave a really good tip that I did not follow, but I probably should have. She said that if you're not used to eating sardines regularly, to get used to eating them regularly before you start the challenge. I definitely was not used to eating them regularly, and last night, after I like forced myself to finish that last sardine, the whole evening, I was like, how in the world am I going to eat sardines tomorrow? Because every time I think about it, it's like, oh, it turned my stomach. I was like, oh, I can't do it. Bubba is at the window wanting to attack the cat that's also at the other side of the window. So that's the drama. So I definitely recommend following that tip. Also, I watched a video from Dr. Lisa Wiedemann about sardine challenges and how she does them. And she does allow for the butter and like some different things. And she said that when she does a sardine fast, she will usually eat only 2 tins of sardines per day. And that's like, 300 to 400 calories. And so I guess I don't feel bad about not feeling like I could eat more. I guess you just follow your hunger and you do end up eating extremely low calorie. I definitely love the benefits of protein, and I keep my protein a lot higher normally. This is not something I would do on a regular basis for extended periods of time. I love the idea of cycling things, so cycling in days or 42 hour or 72 hour like this every once in a while. I think I'm comfortable with that. But this level of calories, this level of protein, not something that I would do often or for an extended period of time. I also wanted to give you an update on my ketones from yesterday. Starting in the evening, probably around like 5 or 6 p.m., I started feeling the taste in the mouth, the metallic taste, like excess saliva, and that I know is a symptom of ketones or fat burning. At least that's what I have felt before when I've been in higher levels of ketosis. And so I started feeling that. And about that time, I noticed that my ketones were up to about 0.7. And if you guys remember, I told you that when I had my continuous ketone monitor on before, I could never get above a 0.6 without taking exogenous ketones. I even did a 23-hour fast and didn't even get up above 0.5 during the 23-hour fast. So to be at a 0.7 just, 8 hours after eating my first can of sardines, that was like a big deal to me in showing me that there is something a little bit magical about the sardines. I still don't know exactly what it is, but to compare where I was when I got that 0.7 in the sardine challenge to where I was at the same point in my fast, I definitely didn't see that high of ketones in my, just fast. It would be really fascinating to compare a 72-hour water fast to a 72-hour sardine fast. Sadly, I don't have that data and I don't plan on getting that data, but that would be interesting. But so far, all I can say is I got my ketones higher with the sardine fast in 23 hours than I did in the 23-hour fast where I had coffee and element, black coffee, nothing, no fat or anything, but coffee and element I had during that fast. So at that point, I was like, oh man, this is exciting. There is something actually magical about these sardines. And it's not just that you're eating so little food. I mean, I think that's part of it, but there's something more to it because I was eating less food in my fast and I didn't have higher ketones. So then this morning when I got up and pulled up my app, I'm going to show you a graph here on the screen. And I do wish that the SciBio app was a little bit better. It's really hard to see. I wish you could zoom in more on the graph. You can only go like 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, 14 day. So I wish that that was a little bit nicer, but sadly that is not the case yet. And you can see that overnight I got up to a 1.0. And then this morning I got all the way up to a 1.1. So that again is really good proof to me that there is something to the sardines beyond just that you're not eating much. Dr. Boz says that after the 3-day mark, that's when things really take off. And so I'm just really interested in seeing what it is from here on out. This whole morning, I have had the same metallic taste in my mouth and like excessive saliva, which is not very pleasant. I can't say that I feel like on top of the world or anything like people say when they, fast or they get into these higher levels of ketosis. I actually have not felt that great this morning. I did tell you on my Wellness Wednesday that I was just getting over a cold, and you can, I'm sure, still hear it in my voice. I feel like I've turned the corner on it and I'm like getting better, but the voice is the last thing to really sound better. So there's that. So that could definitely be playing a part in it. And so it's hard to kind of figure out, what is just getting over the cold and what is, how I feel from the sardine fast. But I cannot say that I feel amazing. I've been, my stomach has been pretty empty this morning and been kind of feeling like a little headachy and like I need to eat, like I said, but at the same time, like not wanting to eat at all, but I feel like I need to. It is noon now, so I've gone longer than I typically do without eating in the morning, although I did have my coffee with MCT oil powder like usual, and I did have some element because I felt like I was going to get dehydrated if I didn't. So anyways, I'm not excited to eat this, but I need to eat it, but I am going to only eat as many bites as I need to feel okay. I'm not going to force myself to eat more than I feel like I want to, like I did last night. I don't think that was good. I'm going to just go bite by bite and be done when I'm done. All right, I got about 2/3 down and I think I'm going to stop there. I don't want to push it. One more thing I thought I'd mention is that this morning when I got up and I saw like my ketones, at that 0.1, 0.8, and like they do bounce around. They don't just stay steady at one number. I was like, I'm curious to see what it says on my ForaCare blood ketone monitor. So I tested my blood ketones and it was only at a 0.4, and that was this morning. And a lot of people, when they do these kind of fasts and things, and trying to get their ketones up, they only test in the morning. And that's great, like to compare from day to day. But the amazing thing about the continuous ketone monitor is I was able to see like all night long what my ketones were doing. And like on my continuous monitor, there were points where it was at 0.4, but there were also a lot more points that it was higher than 0.4. So you can get that little snapshot with the blood ketone monitor, and that's helpful, but you can oftentimes miss. Like if I did my whole sardine fast yesterday, and then I woke up in the morning and tested my ketones and it was at a 0.4, I'd probably be really discouraged. Like, I'm supposed to be getting higher ketones. Why am I not getting higher ketones? when in reality, with the info from the continuous monitor, I was able to see that my ketones were way higher overnight than they ever were not on the sardine fast. Like I said, I would usually flatline overnight, like be 0.0 all night long, you know, with a little blips here and there. But to be like at a 1 at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like that has never, ever happened. So I can see all of those changes really clearly with the continuous monitor that I would totally miss if I just was testing my blood ketones that one time in the morning. Just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, we're at Winco. Thought I'd see if there are some cheaper prices on sardines here. Okay, here we go. Chicken of the Sea. Tiny tots. I've never seen that. Oh, King Oscar. People have been saying these are good. I don't think these are the bristling ones. No, I don't know. Oh, Beach Cliff. Oh, and soybean oil. Goodness. That's not what I want. Kipper snacks. That's not it. Alright. Beach Cliff sardines served in water. The price is definitely better here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. Okay, so we got extra virgin olive oil, Mediterranean style. Oh, these have soybean. Oh, that one has olive oil. And yes, I know that just because it says olive oil doesn't mean it's 100% olive oil. Alright, sardines in water. Sardines, soybean oil. These ones are in tomato sauce. Alright, these ones are the most expensive. Well, actually, no, these ones are the most expensive. Alright, let me decide here. I'm going to try these ones. Beach Cliff, Chicken of the Sea, both in water. And the King Oscar, skinless, boneless, in water. Now we are at Trader Joe's. Let's see, we got olive oil with smoke. Unsalted in spring water, that's a pretty good price. And then skinless, okay, so these aren't skinless, boneless. I'm just gonna try one of those. And then I'm gonna try one of these. We'll just try them all. Except for that one. I didn't like the smoked ones before. So we'll skip the smoked. Trout fillets, anchovies. Alright, that looks like it. Look what I found at Trader Joe's. Now I can match Anita. She showed this bag on her video. It's so cute. Although I'm not loving the sardines right now, these ones are actually cute. Renee, say what you just said again.
I said, oh no, from egg bread to sardine bread.
Oh no.
Also sardine casserole.
And Talia, what did you just say?
Said, when will this nightmare end?
When will this nightmare end?
These sardines are disgusting!
They don't even have to eat them. I'm the one that's eating them.
They smell bad and they contaminate the room. Oh my gosh, I just thought of the most horrible thing.
What?
Sardine lollipop.
Oh, that would be pretty bad.
Disgusting.
Do you remember, maybe you probably didn't see this, but Redmond Real Salt, you know their electrolytes, the cans?
Yeah.
They did a April Fool's
Huh?
one time that was, we have a new flavor of electrolytes, and it was salty sardine flavor.
Ew! I would never.
And so they made all the pictures of like the little cans with the salty sardine label. It didn't really exist. It was just pretend. It was an April Fool.
I would rather eat a worm.
I have decided that I'm going to really splurge for dinner. It is 5 p.m. I haven't eaten anything since noon. I am getting pretty hungry, but not excited about just eating plain sardines. So I am going to do some crispy fried sardines with a little bit of my protein breading. Just gonna add some seasoning. I also had this tartar sauce in the fridge that I made that is avocado oil mayo and some pickles and some pickled juice and just some spices. So it's really, really simple. And I thought I'd have that with it. Hopefully that won't mess me up too much. If I see my ketones take a nosedive after this, I'll know that, you know, just plain sardines are better for keto numbers. So anyways, I'm going to toss the sardines into the breading and fry them up. I was debating about doing the egg wash. I think I probably will. I'll just scramble up an egg and do the egg wash and then the breading and then fry. Well, at least this looks really appetizing. This will be the first appetizing looking meal in 36 hours. I have an orange vanilla Waterloo for my drink. And given a little squeeze of lemon juice. So I cooked 1 tin of the boneless, skinless, was it King Arthur? King Oscar? I don't remember. The red one. They were boneless, skinless in olive oil. I opened another can, the Trader Joe's ones in spring water, but I didn't have enough breading to do the whole thing. And so I just put it away for later. But I did pull out my leftovers from breakfast or lunch, my first meal today, and fried them up as like a little sardine cake. So I could use those up because I had a little bit of breading, but not enough to do that whole other can. So let's just give this a little taste test. Here's another little sardine cake from the pieces that crumbled off. Oh my gosh. That was the best thing I've eaten in 36 hours. The lemon juice on there is really good. It tastes like a salmon cake or a tuna cake. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a treat. Now I will be bummed if like my ketones drop to 0 after this. Because if I could do a sardine fast like this, I think I could do it. Like, I don't know that I could commit to another one if it had to be like straight out of the tin, like I did yesterday. That was intense. But if I could do this and still get decent results and like ketone numbers, I would 100% do this. So ketones have been sitting right around that 1.0 mark. I just checked it just now and it was 0.9. I actually saw it go up to 1.2, which was very exciting. And I know some of you guys who are able to get these super high ketone numbers, you're like, oh, I would think that was bad. I would think that was low if that were me. But for me, who can hardly ever get above that 0.5, 1.2 is actually really, really good. So I'm excited about that. Still, I'm wondering because like last night, my ketones really went up at night, which again is really unusual for me. So I'm curious about what will happen tonight while I'm sleeping. We shall see. Here are my calories and macros for the day. I got in 1,037 calories. I got 88 grams of fat, which was 75.2% of my calories. I got 57.4 grams of protein. That was 21.8% of my calories. I got 8 total carbs, 5.6 net carbs. Those carbs come from the Element and from the MCT oil powder. They have a little bit of carbs in there, and that was 3% of my calories. As soon as I get off of this challenge, I am going to be really, really focusing on protein because I am not comfortable being that low protein for an extended period of time. There are people that say that being in ketosis is muscle protective, so that's possible, but for me, I'm not comfortable risking it. I will definitely be upping the protein after I finish the last day. I also wanted to chat real quick about what I've seen with my blood sugar for the last couple of days. And with a CGM, different CGMs can vary as far as how high or low they run. You can calibrate it, but it's kind of, it's not perfect. So the best way to test if something is changing your average blood sugar is to test it on the same monitor. So I applied my CGM a couple of days before I started the Sardine Challenge. So I have a couple days of data, and then I have the Sardine Challenge data on the same monitor. So this is for today. I had an average blood sugar of 78, which is pretty low. That little blip in there is because I forgot to scan my monitor right before I went to bed. So I'm missing that little bit, but it's not much. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. I'm going to go to yesterday. You can see my average blood sugar was 81. So it's been coming down, and then I'll go to before the sardine fast. It was 89, and the day before that it was 94. And let's see, did I have one more day in here? Yep, the day before that was 93. So I was in the 90s before I started, and then barely like 89 the day before I started. And then as I've done the sardine fast, it's gone down every single day, 81.78. So absolutely, this sardine challenge has reduced my blood glucose. I don't know how far it will reduce and if it will rebound. I found when I did BBBE that my blood sugar initially went down and then it started creeping back up as my body adjusted to the BBBE and the very, very low carb. In my experimentation, I found that I can keep my blood sugar in the best range usually when I eat around 40 to 60 carbs in a day. I find my blood sugar overall in the long run is better than if I'm eating zero carb. When I eat zero carb, it kind of starts to creep up because of the cortisol response. So I have seen my blood sugar go down with doing the sardine challenge that is very, very low carb, but I suspect that if I kept doing it, I would see the average kind of creep back up, but that is just a hypothesis. All right, now over to the SciBio app to show you what my ketones did for the day. There's so much data here to share. This is the next morning right now. I am up at a 1.2, which is the highest I have seen for this whole challenge. I really wish their app was a little bit better and you were able to like zoom in on the graph and see the different readings, but sadly it is not. So you can see yesterday afternoon, I was running between 0.8 and 1.2, and this around here is when I ate my fried sardines with the breading and the tartar sauce. And you can see that it did dip my ketones down to 0.4. So that's what I was worried about. Thankfully, they did come back up, and now I'm sitting at that 1.2. So I don't know if that's that huge of a concern. It wasn't enough to keep my ketones down overnight like my ketones normally are. So I don't know if it's that big of a concern or not, but I did notice that my ketones did drop a little bit right after the meal.